Testing, testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2.
You got 5 minutes? Here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex tonight, looking forward to the kick-off between Bentleigh Greens and Melbourne Victory, not too far away now. Bentleigh, of course, enjoying maybe their best period of the season, and Victory still with a slight hope of sneaking into finals. So all to look forward to kick-off at 8:30. All right, thanks, John. Enjoy the game.
Help us level the playing field. Sign the parliamentary petition today to fuel the growth and fund the game.
Good evening and welcome to Kingston Heath Soccer Complex for this round 24 Senol NPLW Victoria fixture as the Bentleigh Greens and Melbourne Victory go head to head. In a game pitting one of the bottom two teams, the Greens, who are however enjoying one of their better spells of what's been a trying campaign, taking on a Victory team who still have the slightest of hopes of sneaking into a finals position. They'll need everything to go right and then some for that to be the outcome, but in any case Victory hoping to secure a ladder position as high as possible, and really best of the rest just about as we head towards the final few weeks of the campaign. Both teams making a change each to their respective starting 11s for tonight's games. Both teams also without one of their key attacking outlets. Bentleigh Greens again without their captain Candy Ferreira-Bass, of course their top scorer and very much leading line up the top of their usual shape, but no Candy tonight for Bentleigh, and Victory without Ella O'Grady. She's the one change for Jeff Hopkins in tonight's starting 11. That means Alice Franku gets a run from the start. Meanwhile on the bench for Victory, Micah Redjev and Grace Corcoran are brought onto the bench for a potential opportunity in the senior NPL team. Bentleigh and Steve Cremidas, the one change, sees Felicity Georgopoulos returning to the 11, taking the place of Lara Smith. That also makes space for young Tess Kinsella to take up a spot on the bench. As you see both teams completing their pre-match huddles, just a few moments away now from kickoff in Melbourne's southeast. Big night of NPLW Victoria football, 5 games taking place across the course of the evening. This one with consequence for who will end up bottom of the table. Bentleigh Greens and Melbourne City battling it out to avoid that particular outcome. And Melbourne Victory, as mentioned, can still finish as high as 6th. More likely to finish up in 7th or 8th. Could, of course, leapfrog Alamein towards the end of the season. Team that they do play between now and the end of the campaign, but with our central referee's whistle, we are underway. Melbourne Victory with the first spell of possession and the first wayward pass delivered by the inclusion in Jeff Hopkins' 11, Alice Franku. Running through those two 11s for you for Bentleigh Greens. In goal is Melissa Barbieri. Number 2 is Felicity Georgopoulos. 3, Savannah Oxley. 4 is Christina Souza. 6, Emma Robers. 11, Kira Myers. 12, Mia Otero. 14, Yuka Sato. 15, Kate Dunn. 17, Karina Tolios. And number 24 is Julia Sardo. As we see the first attacking move made by the Greens. That ball, though, with a lot too much on it for Yuka Sato to get onto. For Melbourne Victory, in goal once more is Shaylee Lane. Number 2 is Amy Traynor. 5, Portia Tam. 6, Erin Tarrant. 11, Layla Hussein. 12, Alice Franku. 13 is Anika Doverston. 17, Poppy O'Keefe. 18, Jasmine Miller. 28 is Sienna Teixeira. And 58 is Sienna Saveska. Potential look in on goal here, though, for the Greens as Kira Myers picks up the loose ball. Makes some space on the left. Ooh! Shoots towards goal. Palmed onto the crossbar by Shaylee Lane. But it's the Greens who started brighter. Myers doing well to turn onto that left boot. And Lane getting just enough on it to flick it up onto the woodwork and behind for a corner. Kira Myers, of course, and Melbourne City representation in the Greens 11. Taking on this Melbourne Victory outfit. And now a first corner delivery of the evening. This one's right into the heart of the box. Critical header did come, I think, from Sienna Teixeira in the end, using her height to her team's advantage. And now Victory looking to perhaps spring forward on the counter. Franku, the ball was ahead of her, and in the end Victory have themselves a throw. Positive start for the Greens and Kira Myers, but now perhaps with some defending to do. Hasn't been a terrible few weeks by any stretch for the Greens, picking up 4 points over their last 3 games. It's really as good a run as they've had at any time in the season in terms of their league form. Just the 8 points to their name thus far this campaign, the 2 wins. hoping to finish strongly. They have certainly improved in the second half of the campaign. Bit of a recruiting spree in the middle of the season. Change of coach saw Steve Cremitas come in and have proven to be a far more competitive outfit than we saw in the first half of the campaign. That first half of the campaign including a game against tonight's opponents, Melbourne Victory, at the home of the Matildas, where Victory were much too strong for their opponents. A 5-0 win that day. Sienna Teixeira with the brace, as well as goals for Alice Franco and Jasmine Miller. Jess Young too, but she's not in the team tonight for Victory. But a number of players hoping to double up in the Victory shirt against Bentleigh Greens in season 2026. He's almost at the point where you feel that Bentleigh's ladder position, it probably doesn't reflect certainly the team that they'll finish the season with, as well as those few extra points that they've picked up. They've really pushed the Lean Lions and South Melbourne over the last couple of months as well, even last week, taking the Essendon Royals much further than many would have expected. So that will give them some optimism coming into tonight's game, albeit against a Victory team who've enjoyed a bit of a turnaround in form of their own over the last couple of weeks. They've won their last 2, scoring 9 goals and conceding just the 2 against Melbourne City and Spring Hills. And now Victory have themselves their own first corner of the evening. This one's got some depth on it. Awkward for Melissa Barbieri. Headed away. Franco was arriving. The follow-up shot all the way in. Well, it hasn't taken long, but Melbourne Victory grabbed themselves the opening goal, coolly finished on the rebound. And after a promising start for the Bentleigh Greens, it's Melbourne Victory who strike first. Just 5 minutes on the clock, and already a goal to the good are the visitors. Just confirming as well, taking a look at the replay, that the goal scorer was indeed Sienna Teixeira. In the right place at the right time, the ball falling fortunately for Teixeira, who's been on a bit of a scoring hot streak in recent weeks. Now some defending to do for Victory as Yuka Sato looks to create for the Greens. Cross does eventually come in and sent behind for another Bentleigh corner. Sienna Teixeira did find the back of the net a couple weeks ago against Melbourne City, and doing so again tonight. That her 7th goal of the campaign, tying Ella O'Grady as Victory's 2nd top scorer, and just the one now behind Jasmine Miller, who is 8. With Victory now will have to turn their mind to more defensive parts of the game. Another corner sent in. Does fall to the deck. Yuka Sato on the edge of the area. Her strike caught a heavy deflection. And there were some eager appeals for a handball, which the referee was not interested in. So a solid response from the Bentleigh Greens to going behind. Charging forward there was Myers. Closing down the space on Emmy Traynor. No one taking short for Sato. Now Sardo making her way forward from the right fullback position. Poppy O'Keefe leading the counter for Melbourne Victory. Traynor looks inboard to Silvesca, whose turn was delayed. Now Doverston. There's a bit of space on the right flank, and that is indeed where the ball heads now. Shot coming in from a long way out. And that one not troubling Melissa Barbieri. Looking as if Sienna Teixeira feeling fairly confident, having scored that opening goal. O'Keefe doing enough to disrupt the play out from the green, so a chance here for victory. Silveska has Doverston, who thought about pulling the trigger, instead opts for the retreat. Victory move out wide. This time, ball slid through cleverly. No end product for victory just yet. Throw into the feet of Francu. Victory again look to head into the penalty area. Jasmine Miller was closest to that one, but nowhere near in the right position to take advantage. So Melissa Barbieri sends it upfield. Victory not looking interested in ceding much pressure. They're quickly back on the ball and moving the ball quickly. Tarrant looks out to the right flank. Silveska. The early cross inside. Well defended by Emma Rovers, who does well to play it off her opponent for a Bentleigh throw.
Can you bring wood to win, please?
Not a huge surprise to see an early goal in this fixture. These are two teams whose games have seen plenty of them. Victory scoring fairly prolifically for a team in their position on the ladder. Only the top 5 teams have scored more than Victory's 44 goals. They're on the other end of that spectrum in terms of scoring, with just the 19 in 23 games, the lowest in the division, but both have also let in plenty. 2 of the 3 leakiest defence in the competition. Well, that adds up to teams who, between them, have had games averaging over 4 goals per game. We've got one already tonight, and Melbourne Victory perhaps looking for another as Francu charges forward. A little stoppage in play because one of the Bentleigh players, I think it's Julia Sardo, really copped that one. A little bit of an innocuous jump up into her head from the ball. And on a chilly evening like tonight, that won't be the most pleasant sensation that she's had. So a first pause in the game as Melissa Barbieri calls over her troops to have a discussion about how things have panned out. The first 2 or 3 minutes promised much for Bentleigh. They came out looking sprightly. That initial shot from Myers saved onto the crossbar. But for Victory to go down the other end and score the opening goal, somewhat taken the wind out of the green sails. Do have, of course, though, a long time yet to try and get this game back on track. Looks of things, there's now a light bit of rain that's popped over the playing surface, so cool conditions already. Now a little bit of water to go with it. That's Sienna Teixeira goal separating these two teams in the early stages. An interesting goal scorer as well, whilst Teixeira has been one of Victory's most prolific, has taken up a position at right fullback for this evening's game. She was there making that run. No surprise to see her advancing a long way upfield to support the attacking moves, and was right in the mix of things in the penalty area to score that opening goal. A more perhaps defensive role than we're most used to seeing her play. Here's Doveston for Victory, who look to reset and build up from the back as Portia Tam sends the ball infield. Here is Poppy O'Keefe. Falling behind is pretty good for Layla Hussein, who now looks to shield the ball with her body. Waiting for the cross were 3 Melbourne Victory shirts. It wasn't forthcoming. The shout there from Melissa Barbieri was for her teammates to push up and not allow themselves to be found defending so deep at this early stage, and just inviting more Melbourne Victory pressure, trying their best to repel their visitors' attacks. But Franku's in behind now. Awkward angle for Alice. Franku does pick out Miller, who kept the ball in play, but no teammate was in position to take advantage. Bentleigh attempt the rapid counter-attack. Instead, Tam plays it out wide to Miller. Very much a breakout star this season. Jasmine Miller alongside Amy Traynor, who just saw coughing up possession. A little bit of disagreement as to which way the throw was going. Eventually, it was Victory to restart play. And now Bentleigh Greens will maybe be able to spend a little bit of time in possession. Kate Dunn, one of the mid-season recruits, coming across from Colorado State University, uses the ever-experienced Barbieri. Ball forward, skimming off the boot of Traynor. Julia Sardo will restart play. Into the path of Myers. Myers has about 3 opponents to contend with. Did well to get the attempted cross away, and her reward is a corner for Bentleigh. Savannah Oxley moving ahead to deliver this corner from the near side. Already their 3rd of this opening half for Bentleigh Greens. Haven't looked totally impotent. This delivery from Oxley is a little bit flatter. Clearing boot came from Miller, and Bentleigh will get another crack at it with a throw.
We going, Calista, Lydia?
Yeah, let's go.
Oxley leaves the throwing duties to Dunn, who threatened to launch. Deceptive short approach instead. And Myers was quickly closed down by Traynor. And the official's decision is that the last touch came off Kira Myers as well, so a very effective defence from Melbourne Victory. Franco and Georgopoulos wrestle in the middle of the park. Almost coughed up to Sienna Silvesca. O'Keefe was there closing down the space, and it's fallen fortuitously for Franco, hoping to slide through Layla Hussein. Melissa Barbieri well alert. Shaylee Lane now picking out Sienna Teixeira on the right side of the field, who makes the inboard run. Frank, who's on the receiving end. Now Doveston, Teixeira is making the overlap, and that's where the ball is sent before looking inboard to O'Keefe. In fact, it's Franco who's continued the run forward. And now one back by Doveston. Chance here for the midfielder. Never favoured from that tight of an angle, and indeed Barbieri deals with it comfortably. Sato attempts the turn. Does really well as the midfield maestro, but charging up to support came Miller. Has turned into a fairly brisk evening. Edging towards the end of winter, and next week promises to maybe see a little uptick in temperature. Just this evening in the breeze and with the spot of rain. Very much wintry conditions in Melbourne southeast. Ball launched forward, but never favouring a Bentleigh Greens attacker. Ball coming from Christina Souza, who does have a birthday today, a 31st birthday for Christina Souza. A long-term representative of southeast football. Playing for a long time for Bayside United, also turned out for the likes of Burundara, and most recently Spring Hills.
Very good.
Now in the green of Bentleigh.
Selena tick of approval.
Proving to be as serviceable as ever. Across the defensive line for the Greens. Has been asked to play a number of positions this season as well. In the Cup earlier in the campaign, had to step in as a goalkeeper when there were no other options available. That game against Seaford, which Bentleigh saw off fairly comfortably in the end without too much Christina Souza involvement needed. Sure, she would have been grateful for that in the end. Very much one of those utility players that coaches love to have at their disposal, Christina Souza, and hoping to celebrate tonight with a win. 20 minutes gone though, her team are currently trailing. They have certainly established a foothold in this game though, the Greens. Playing out as a fairly evenly matched contest, as you probably would have expected. Victory certainly favourites coming into tonight, but not by a huge distance. Barbieri's clearing ball, met by the head of Tarrant. This is Oxley for the Greens. Inboard to Sato, who tees up Tolios. There's a run coming from the left side in shape of Christina Souza, who was hoping that perhaps Sato continued the run that wasn't forthcoming, so it's a comfortable tidy up for Portia Tam. Potential counter-attack is curtailed by Sardo. Yeah, and across to Christina Souza. Bentleigh hoping to continue their attack, but Jasmine Miller was there to pick up on the loose touch from Georgopoulos. Neither team looking able to maintain possession for particularly long at the minute. Both taking every opportunity to pounce on a loose ball when it comes their way. Trainer trying to skip past Myers, but couldn't get around Oxley. Saw the idea. Ball being sent forward by Sardo. Now Silvestre for victory. Trainers made a daring run from defence. Crosses it first time. It was a lovely delivery from Emmy Trainer, just over the head of Layla Hussein. Very nearly paving the way for a second victory goal. As I mentioned, this is one of 5 NPLW Victoria fixtures taking place this evening. Doveston for victory on the turn. Uses her midfield partner in O'Keefe. Now Silvestre tried with the left. Catches a deflection. Could fall back to Doveston. Stephanie Otero hopes to launch the counter for Bentleigh, but as has been the case far too often this evening thus far, ball's played in behind or over the top, but not a willing runner in sight. Yuka Sato's playing in a really advanced position, the typical midfielder. Does an excellent job at winning the ball back for the Greens, but perhaps doesn't have the pace that Bentleigh are looking for up top. Here's Miller, making a daring run before hoping to use the support of Silvestre. Silvestre saw the danger of Souza, who went sliding in, got rid of the ball quickly, and drew the foul. So Melbourne Victory with a free kick in a fairly inviting position. This game tonight kicking off concurrently with games up north at Jenna Steele between Preston and Essendon Royals, and out west at Springside between Spring Hills and Alamein. To go alongside the games that kicked off an hour prior. Box Hill against Avondale, the headline act, along with Heidelberg United hosting Melbourne City. Now Melbourne Victory to deliver the free kick. Headed away by Sardo, falls to the feet of Doveston. Made some space before shooting with the right. It wasn't really with the body position to get the venom in the strike that it demanded. Victory have won their last 2 games, so if they were to win again tonight, 3rd win in a row would lift them to 35 points. Go a long way to securing a finish no lower than 8th, perhaps depending on Spring Hill's result in the concurrent fixture. Would also mean closing the gap with Alamein to just a point, and also depending on that game between Spring Hills and Alamein, kicked off concurrently to this one. Would also be closing the gap on South Melbourne, who currently occupy 6th place, to just 4 points. So, well, if South Melbourne win another game, then Melbourne Victory are knocked out of the finals race. South Melbourne with 3 still to play. If Victory win all 3, they can finish on a maximum of 41 points. It's a long-range attempt there that was well watched by Shady Lane, but for Victory, the maximum point total 41 points, a couple ahead of South Melbourne's current of 39. Of course, a win for South Melbourne in any of their last 3 games, ending those hopes, as well as Alamein to deal with for Melbourne Victory, who are their next opponents. Next time out at the home of the Matildas, before Victory finished their season at BT Connor against Preston Lions. Ball sent through, asking Hussein to chase. Certainly did well to manage it back to their goalkeeper. Now Otero worked her way in front, hoping to use the support of Sardo, but Traynor was in best position. Oxley now retreating to Kira Myers. Looks forward. Otero tried the flick-on pass. Just the spin of the ball, seeing the ball taken away from her reach. Once again, Teixeira bursting out of the defensive line. But a combination of Bentleigh shirts do enough to win back the ball. It's a really competitive first half thus far. Just the Sienna Teixeira goal in the aftermath of the corner, which separates the 2 teams. Bentleigh, meanwhile, they start tonight a point ahead of Melbourne City. They will be going down, Bentleigh, as one of the 2 bottom place teams this season, but can strive to avoid that bottom position on the tree. Their last home game coming next week here against Preston Lions, before rounding out the season at the Village against Heidelberg. 2 eminently winnable games for Bentleigh in their recent form against 2 teams out of the finals race. Well, when you consider that Melbourne City finished their campaign with a game tonight against Heidelberg before the games against South Melbourne and Box Hill, does augur well for Bentleigh to at least avoid that bottom place finish. Julia Sato with the throw for the Greens. Looks towards Sato, who is closely watched by Trainer. And it was the defender's presence that saw the ball out for a victory throw-in, which was quickly taken. Doverston uses O'Keefe. Out to the right-hand side. Combination of Teixeira and Silvestre. Seeing the ball sent inside, flicked towards goal by Doverston. And Melissa Barbieri will be very grateful that that one didn't have the power or the trajectory to cause too much trouble for such a quality goalkeeper. Safely washed into her gloves as Bentleigh get the ball all the way to Barbieri's opposite number in Shaylee Lane. Once again, without really threatening on the way there. An inviting goal kick sent up to Miller, but did well to control to the victory, number 18. Here's Myers. As the supporting run from Sato decided to carry on herself. Eventually Sato is rewarded. Just couldn't find a way through the wall of victory bodies, so forced into retreat was Sato. Now Rovers. Eventually the ball finds its way infield to Otero for Bentleigh. Sato. A long way advanced, the right fullback. Myers. Cuts onto the left, Kira Myers. Uses Oxley. Really important intervention from Tarrant as Yuka Sato tried the long-range attempt, but that well over Shaylee Lane's crossbar. Half an hour now played at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. The Sienna Teixeira goal, which separates the side, currently seeing Melbourne victory en route to 3 points. 3 points which would extend their finals hopes for another 24 hours at least. Barbieri with a riveting ball into midfield where Yuka Sato was arriving. Sato, a diminutive figure, but uses the body so well. Unable to find a teammate with the pass, though. Here's Doverston, looking towards Silvestre. Instead, coming away with the ball was Rovers. Trainer, having run back the ball, has gone on a really daring run from a long way out. Trainer, well, that would have been some goal had she been able to finish off her work. Barbieri not totally comfortable, but happy to see the ball sail wide of the post. And Trainer receiving words of encouragement from across the team for what was, well, enterprising to say the least. Bentleigh happy to escape though. Doverston winning back possession now using Francu. Looking inboard for Silvestre. Couldn't make the space for the shot. Francu does end up with the cross inside. Barbieri favoured. And Bentleigh once again look to launch a counter-attack. Will this one be a little bit more effective? Sousa opts for the more patient approach, which was probably the right move, giving teammates time to get into attacking positions, but Bentleigh have been forced all the way back to Barbieri. Now Duns turning away from the Layla Hussein press. really do get the sense that Melbourne Victory giving their players such freedom to move around the pitch. Players popping up here, there and everywhere. Wider players going central, defensive players into attack. Make for a really difficult defensive job for the Greens, just to keep track of all the grey shirts popping up across the field of play. They've done a reasonably good job since conceding that opening goal though, the Greens. Very much though, still lacking at the other end. Hoping to change that was Oxley, whose touch tried to find its way into the path of Otero. Victory quick to wrestle back control of the ball. Well, the pass left a little bit to be desired, but you really can see that Sienna Silvestre bringing a skill level that's a cut above the rest, or at least most of the players on the pitch tonight. Really is so much fun to see, given time and space to show her skills. Here is Silvestre on the ball again, keeping the ball on her left side, but unable to wrangle clear of Karina Tolios. Really clever turn from Myers to get some space. Skips over Tarrant as well, Kira Myers. This is a wonderful run from the wide player. Makes some space, shot away. Kira Myers, what a goal. A sensational run. The play starting in Bentleigh's own half, and Kira Myers was not to be denied. Got past Emmy Trainer and skipped over Tarrant. And in that dangerous position, we saw her very early in the game have a shot which was narrowly deflected away. That one, though, into the back of the net, and Bentleigh are level. Really nicely taken goal from Myers. Of course, brought in mid-season from Melbourne City, Kira Myers, having first really made a mark in NPL football with the FB Academy team. Seems to be on a very healthy trajectory. It's getting better and better as the months go by and the seasons carry on. Well, the good news from a neutral perspective for tonight is it means a game that's right back in the balance at a goal apiece. Melbourne Victory hoping for a quick response. The centering ball picked out Miller, who got right underneath the shot. And we'll need the spare ball to be sent towards Barbieri. Kira Myers, that goal, her third of the campaign, moves to outright second on the Bentleigh goal scorers tally, just behind Candy Ferreira-Bass. Silvestre, well, you saw what she was looking at. Camera positioned perfectly to get a look at that bottom right corner where Silvestre was hoping to catch Barbieri off guard. Just pulling the shot wide. The goal has just given this game a little bit of an extra burst in energy. All of a sudden, Victory feeling the jeopardy a little bit more, and Bentleigh inspired as they surge numbers forward. That touch from O'Keefe sees Otero win back possession for the Greens before retreating to Souza. Pass back to Dunn, who's closed down by Francu, but composed play from the Bentleigh Greens defender, stepping out of the defensive line, skipping past 3 or 4 opponents before finally being stopped. Numbers paying off there for the Greens as they blockaded Victory's path forward. The quick spring forward, though, doesn't pan out as planned. Shearer hoping for Hussein, who's in behind, was brought down by Souza. Foul deemed to have been committed. Now, what colour will the card be is the question. We're a long way away, but it looks as if that was just a yellow in the end, and Sousa's protesting the decision to award a foul at all. Certainly the right call with the position on the ground in which the foul was committed. Couldn't be said to have been an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, so Stanley will just have a free kick to defend and a defender on a yellow card for the remainder of this one. Well, it was right around this time, the last time these two teams played, that Melbourne Victory scored their third to go 3-0 ahead. They'd love a go-ahead goal here at Kingston Heath. The delivery inside. Barbieri able to claim with 2 bites at the cherry. Wants to quickly send away Kieran Myers. It's both of those two, Barbieri and Myers, coming to the Greens from Melbourne City. Call was keeper from Barbieri, but Rovers decided she knew better, and now Souza for Bentleigh. Hoping for Tolios. Unable to find her teammate, though, as Silvesca looks to play through Francu. Smart use of the body by Julia Sardo, and shuffles it behind for a Bentleigh Greens goal kick. Does speak volumes of the improvements in this Bentleigh Greens team in the second half of the campaign, that they find themselves level at 1-1 as we edge towards half-time. In a game where, in the earlier meeting between these two teams, it was already 3-0 to Melbourne Victory and would end 5-0. And they've been right in this contest as well, the Bentleigh Greens, as Yuka Sato sends that one upfield and asks a fair bit of Myers. Gives chase to Tarrant, who tried to clear but ran into Sato. This could pan out for the Greens yet. Ball in behind. The offside flag is up. Yeah, Otero not thrilled with the call, having tried to tee up Myers. As we head into the final couple minutes of the first 45. A game that promises to continue delivering some entertainment in the second half. And the trainer goes infield to Franku, hoping for Miller. Instead, Sardo was playing interceptor. Trainer. Referee's whistle coming at a really important moment for Melbourne Victory. Hussain. Once again drifted out to this right flank. To Shearer. End up going back to O'Keefe to Melbourne Victory. Maybe just hoping to re-establish some degree of control in this game. Trainer has had an excellent first 45 with the one blight on her performance being that mistimed attempt to stop the run of Kira Myers, from which the goal was ultimately scored. Has had a lot of the better of the duels between those two on this near side over the course of the first 45. Emmy Trainer, just that one crucial moment from which Myers made her pay. Offside flag that time coming to Bentleigh's rescue. As we await to see how many minutes of first half stoppage time will be played. And the fourth officials board confirming just the one. So time perhaps for one more attack to be made if Bentleigh Greens are so inclined. Has done returns to Barbieri. It doesn't seem as if scoring another is top of Bentleigh's priority list right at the moment. So they're happy to invite the press from Miller. It's been a fiercely contested game all throughout the first half, and we're seeing that right to the end with the bodies in close proximity to one another, and with the referee's halftime whistle that does bring the opening of proceedings to a close. 1-1 is the score heading into the break at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. A thoroughly engaging first 45 of football, demonstrating for all to see the improvements in Bentleigh Greens and that they're in as good a run of form as they have been all season. Melbourne Victory continuing though to pose a threat that they always do, and this game remains right in the balance as we head towards the break, and indeed a second 45 that promises plenty. Sienna Teixeira over the scoring for Melbourne Victory before Kira Myers equalised for Bentleigh Greens with a wonderful run from the flank to the goal, to the penalty area, and coolly finished off as well, hoping for much more of that entertainment in the second half. But at the break here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex, scoreline reads Bentleigh Greens 1, Melbourne Victory 1.
Do you want to drink on this?
Well, I was supposed to help out my son's thing.
For them, it was just.
Well, welcome back to Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. Second half underway between Bentleigh Greens and Melbourne Victory. 1-1 the scoreline at the break. As Sienna Teixeira's opener for Victory was cancelled out by Kira Meyer's superb equaliser. So a game finally poised heading into the second 45. And I've seen just there a halftime substitution was made. It looks by Steve Kremidas. And we'll confirm this in a moment, but it looks as if Anastasia Theodosiou has come onto the park in place of Felicity Georgopoulos. So that is indeed the change that has been made by the Greens. Theodosiou on for Georgopoulos, who was the one changed to the starting 11. So the former Southern United player will get a run at things for the second 45. Theodosiou, one of those young players who has had a moment or two this season, which they've really stood out, so showing some early promise. And now getting plenty of time to show her worth against this Melbourne Victory outfit. First involvement of the half for Shaylee Lane, stepping out of her penalty area, the goalkeeper. Saveska trying the little flick around pass. And well, the second half starting much like the first finish with some heavy contest right in the middle of the park. And eventually Bentleigh Greens retreating all their way to Melissa Barbieri, who gets the first touch of her own in the second 45. Well, there has been a change from Melbourne Victory as well. I'm wondering, though, whether it is just a change of shirt. Because there's a number 50 out there now. It looks as if that may well still be Layla Hussein. There isn't a 50 on the substitutes bench for Melbourne Victory, so maybe just a change in running apparel for this second 45 as we get back underway. From the looks of things, still the same starting 11 for Melbourne Victory as the one with which they finished the first 45. Ball sent up forward, touch from Tarrant into the path of Portia Tam, who looks now to the goal scorer, Teixeira. Making a daring run down the right flank is Sienna Teixeira. Did well to manufacture some space, but the cross inside left a little bit to be desired. Just couldn't quite sort out her feet in time, and was well off balance when she tried to deliver the ball. So it was a first half in which Bentleigh started brightly, but it was Victory who took the lead early with their first real look at goal in the game. That did condition much of what was to come for the next 20 or so minutes before a superb run from Kira Myers brought the Greens level. One of the best goals we've seen this season. That marauding run down the right flank from Kira Myers, who also had a shot saved onto the crossbar very early in that first half. Bentleigh well meriting their goal and the level scoreline as things stand. Just taking a look, it does definitely appear as if that is still Layla Hussein out there for Victory, so we'll continue with that assumption as Victory win back the ball in the middle of the park. Ball sent out to Sienna Teixeira on this right-hand side. Franku, the one inclusion in the 11 for Jeff Hopkins. Galveston had the boot up. Yuka Sato put the head down, and referee's whistle not forthcoming. Galveston. Was a game which neither side really felt totally in control of for very long throughout that first half. So you wonder whether that will be more of an emphasis for Victory coming in to this second 45. Spending a little bit more time on the ball in less dangerous positions. That pass from Tam was very nearly into the feet of Myers. Instead, Traynor looks to send Victory forward down that left-hand side. Traynor herself went on an excellent run from her own half, which ended with a shot wide of the post. Would have been a less likely scorer than Myers, Emmy Traynor. In any case, Victory continuing with the ball, now through to Teixeira once more. There are options in the box. Teixeira tries to pick out one of them. Instead, though, only met the head of Kate Dunn as Bentleigh repel another Victory foray. Sato's touch just invited O'Keefe in. Hussein thinking about the shot, instead tees up Doveston, who tries from a long way out, and that one lacking the power and accuracy to really trouble Melissa Barbieri. It's of course a real feature of Bentleigh games with Bubs back in the 11, the constant instructions coming from the penalty area towards the Greens players. One of the most experienced operators going around in Victorian football. Most of the reason for her continuing engagement at Melbourne City, Melissa Barbieri. Danger for Sardo as Miller closed down the space, but did well to navigate away clear. Dunn eventually gave up the ghost and just hoofed it upfield. Tarrant charging out of defence and gave away a foul in the process, so a little bit of a pressure valve release for Bentleigh, who've been doing most of the defending in the opening of this second half. Do have some score updates from around the grounds as well. The two games that kicked off an hour before this one, having both finished. Box Hill and Avondale in that big game at the top of the table, ending 1 goal apiece. So Box Hill still in pole position to claim the premiership with just 2 games to go. If they win both of them, they will be premiers, the defending champions, Box Hill. That ball for Hussein was really nicely weighted, but Hussein just couldn't get there ahead of a pair of Bentleigh shirts. Meanwhile, up at the Village, Heidelberg too good for Melbourne City. They came from behind to win that one 2-1. That's good news for the Greens. It means that they'll remain off the foot of the table regardless of the result tonight. And in the games that kicked off concurrent to this one, 2 others up at BT Connor, Preston and Essendon Royals. That game's tied at 1-1, so potential ramifications for the premiership race there if the Royals were to fail to capitalise on Box Hill's drop points. And of concern for Melbourne Victory, the game at Springside Recreation Reserve. It's Alamein who had an excellent first half, 2-0 to the good at the break against Spring Hills. So that meaning the live ladder as things stand sees Alamein jumping up to 39 points, level with South Melbourne in that final top 6 position. South Melbourne to play tomorrow against Keilor Park. And Melbourne Victory would find themselves 6 points adrift. So still not mathematically eliminated from the finals race, but 6 points plus a whole lot of goal difference with South Melbourne having an extra game to play is all but Melbourne Victory's finals hopes brought to an end. Does, though, increase even more the premium on 3 points tonight for the Victory to keep pace with Alamein, their opponents next week, who they could potentially leapfrog if everything goes to plan in the last 2 games of the season. Victory with a corner to send in. Barbieri got 2 fists to it. Doverston sending it back out wide for the repeat delivery. Tarrant tried the header. Miller now trying to bustle her way past an opponent to get a clean look at goal. Instead, Barbieri there to collect from the ground. And maybe now Bentleigh Greens can get a counter-attack right. They've been well on the back foot in the first 10 minutes of this second half. Trying the run was Kira Myers, but the numbers winning out for Victory. So the visitors, from the looks of things, putting their feet down somewhat, hoping to wrestle back control of this game. Would have certainly felt you'd imagine that control gradually dissipated throughout the first half. Victory do have a decent record away from home. 4 of their 10 wins this season coming on the road. Some impressive ones as well. Wins away to Bentleigh, Melbourne City, Spring Hills and Heidelberg. As well as a draw at South Melbourne to boot. So they've fared nearly as well away from the home of the Matildas as at their home venue. Have Melbourne Victory. Bentleigh, meanwhile, well, they've picked up almost all of their points here at Kingston Heath. 7 of their 8 coming here. Those wins against Burundara and Melbourne City to go with the draw against Alamein. Only other point coming from the 1-1 draw at Keilor Park a few weeks ago. And they do also have a couple of cup wins here at home, albeit against lower division opposition. So really all of the positive results the Bentleigh have picked up this season, bar 1, have come here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. That one draw against Keilor Park, the only game that Bentleigh Greens haven't lost away from this venue. But you can see they're looking fairly comfortable here at home and having sunk their teeth right into this clash. Now with a rare bit of territory advantage, the Bentleigh Greens in the Victory half, and they'll get themselves a throw as well. Maybe a chance to reverse a little bit of the pressure they were under for most of the first 10 minutes in this half. Otero sent it in board. Yuka Sato wasn't best pleased with the delivery, felt it didn't give her much of a chance. And indeed it rolls well wide of the goal. Shaylee Lane plays ball kid and retrieves to restart play. Well, they did sneak out of play, so Melbourne Victory have invited Bentleigh Greens to potentially make another entry into the penalty area. Hoping to do so here is Otero. Trainer wrestling back possession, but the best she can do is return the ball to the Greens. Eventually, Bentleigh send the ball clear of the massive bodies, and Emma Robers will look to generate a different angle. Souza running behind from Tolios. Watched fairly closely all the way was Karina Tolios, and there was a convincing appeal made, but not rewarded for Sienna Teixeira. Throw taken quickly by Souza, who will now put the cross inside. There are a couple of options. Myers is one of them. Leaves it for Sardo. Julia Sardo. The opportunity opened up, had some time and space, was a fair way out, but a player of her ability, very capable of striking those ones. Just cutting a little bit on the attempt, which ultimately sees the ball wide of Shaylee Lane's post. So an hour played now at Kingston Heath. Still the game remaining very evenly balanced. Victory having the better of the first 10 minutes, now hoping to resume their attacking dominance. Saveska. This competition in done, and the defender did her job to great effect. Really blocking the vision of the diminutive Saveska. And the ball inside flings out of play for Bentleigh to restart play from the very back. Here's Saveska again. Out wide was Miller. Trainer overlapping. Ball inside met by Kate Dunn. Franku uses Doverston. Now out to the left flank where Miller was hoping to make a move inboard. Trainer wrestling back control. Unable though to prevent the assistant's flag pointing in favour of Bentleigh Greens. Victory from the looks of things readying a substitution. So Jeff Hopkins, the first to make a move since the halftime break when Steve Kremidis introduced Theodosiu into the play, who we haven't seen a whole lot of. It's been mostly defending for the Greens up to this point. Theodosiu might need to scramble back here because Sienna Saveska got there in time to get the little toe poke over the top of Barbieri, but there's too much on it, so it escaped from her grasp and rolling out for another Bentleigh ball. Victory nearly making their hosts pay as we wait for the play to be restarted, with perhaps a substitution coming fairly soon. The stoppage in play, I think, is for the medical staff to go and have a chat to Melissa Barbieri. Without being too presumptuous, a number of the Greens players sprinted towards their coach's technical area when the referee's whistle blew, so perhaps just providing an opportunity for some new instructions as Steve Cremidas hopes to organise things, whilst Melissa Barbieri just has her welfare confirmed. We'll also provide an opportunity for the substitution to come, and Alice Francu, having been brought into the 11, will be given an early mark this evening. And will make way for Mia Crawford from the looks of things. Crawford, who worked her way into the starting 11 a few weeks ago and put in some decent showings in the Victory backline. Doesn't look as if that's the position she'll be occupying tonight. Instead, stepping up into more of a midfield position, Mia Crawford. Still just waiting as Melissa Barbieri maybe has some kind of cut on the face, which is currently being dealt with. So perhaps after all it was a quite legitimate stoppage, as Barbieri almost looking good to go and continue with this one. All the checks done. Player looks as if it will be able to get back underway. Amy Traynor with the throw for victory. Did look a little bit of a foul throw, which is what the call was suggesting, but referee in the better position deemed it to be a legitimate one, as Victory continue to try and suffocate their hosts this evening. Bentleigh, though, have come away with the ball. Chance perhaps for Otero to put on the afterburners. Teixeira happy to chaperone the ball all the way back to the goalkeeper, Shaylee Lane. Getting closer perhaps to getting one of those counter-attacking moves right at the Greens, not quite. Teixeira now, looking up towards Miller, well read by Robers. Doverston now makes a little bit of space before using Teixeira and Miller. This is O'Keefe. Couple of turns, one way then the other from Hussein. Eventually Miller sends it out to the left, where the substitute Crawford picks up possession. Traynor with the underlapping run. Maybe just caught Julia Sardo in that last little passage of play. In any case, Victory continuing to move. Looked in board. And Bentleigh eventually do some clearing of the ball. But The referee's whistle means a free kick will be forthcoming for Victory. A handball called against Theodosiou. Ball just springing up at the Greens player, so that means, well, a very tempting position perhaps for a shot on goal. Paul Jutam has raced up to stand over the dead ball.
I'm not around this week. We'll have a look for it next Friday. I might go over and wander over. All right, thanks, Bob.
Well, in a half where, despite Victory's general control of possession and territory, they haven't created a whole lot. Is that to change here? Tam's delivery went direct, thumped into the wall. As far as O'Keefe, and slicing the attempt was the midfielder. So comfortably wide of Melissa Barbieri's goal. And as we creep towards the final 20 minutes of the 90, the Greens moving towards another point perhaps. Sato. You wondered whether Steve Cremidas and his team would be satisfied with just the draw. Doesn't look to be the case just yet. Myers cuts onto the left. Kira Myers. Oh. Well, she already scored one belter this evening. Very nearly made it two. That's as clean a look at goal as really either team have had in this half. And Myers shifting it onto the left, flashing wide of the post, and it took a touch as well. So Bentleigh Greens with a follow-up corner. The question has very much been answered, whether they'll settle for the point, Bentleigh. Certainly not yet. Not a whole lot to lose, so hunting what may well be a winning goal. Sent in by Oxley. It's awkward for Lane, and it's all the way home. Bentleigh Greens lead. They've come from behind, and Savannah Oxley with the corner delivery all the way home. There's been an Olympico at Kingston Heath, and because of it, the Greens, with just 20 minutes to play, have themselves a lead. Well, that's the reward you get for putting it into the danger zone. And Melbourne Victory quick to make their move in response. Sienna Saveska will be withdrawn. And that will make way for Anastasia Simic to play out the remainder of this one. And all of a sudden, Victory in need of a real burst. It's been a half that's largely gone to plan, you'd think, for Jeff Hopkins, playing out the way that we expect his teams to play when things are going right, both his A-League team and NPL. But despite that, Bentleigh Greens have gone down the other end and scored from a corner. Doverston makes the run down the right and is unable to persuade the assistant that a corner should have been awarded. All of a sudden, there's real urgency from both teams. Bentleigh Greens now with a lead to defend. An opportunity for a rare win this campaign. Be just a third in the league this season. The first come from behind victory of the Greens campaign across league and cup football. They've still got a little while to go yet if they are to see off the Victory surge. Barbieri's under pressure and got it clear. Oxley, the scorer of the second goal, did well. Now Souza. Now what a birthday present this would be for Christina Souza. A result that would once and for all end Melbourne Victory's finals hopes. But more than that, of course, both these teams not so much playing for the result on the ladder, but for the pride, for the opportunity for players to show what they're made of. Here's Poppy O'Keefe. Could this be her moment? Not quite, as Bentleigh closed down the space. Of course, to secure as high a position finish as possible for the team you're representing too, Melbourne Victory, hoping to remain right amongst the top half and the upper echelon of NPL Victoria teams this season. The Greens, though, threatening to do some damage to their standing to victory. Chance down the right-hand side. Myers continuing the run, unable to make the space for a ball inside. It does come now. But fairly comfortable for Lane, that one. Well, you wonder whether Victory, who came out so sprightly in this second half, that's a great ball for Simic. Thought about the first time, Dunn coming across and sending it away. You do wonder whether Melbourne Victory laid in the night some heavy legs, perhaps. They put a lot into the opening 10-15 minutes of this second half, going in search of that goal to put them back in control. Does that mean that they've denied themselves a little bit of zip towards the end of this game? They'll certainly hope not, and they've got a corner now. Portia Tam marches over to deliver. Well, the voices are only getting louder from the Bentleigh Greens dugout, hoping their team remains alert. Tam delivers. Barbieri got something on it, and the referee's whistle coming to the aid of the hosts. Barbieri flung herself at that ball, sent in, doing all she could to try and deny a clean shot at goal. And in the end, it's worked out for the Greens. Sienna Teixeira looks to be a little worse for wear in the aftermath. Her opening goal, feeling a long time ago now, and indeed it is. Over 70 minutes of football since Melbourne Victory found themselves 1-0 to the good. As well, they were able to cling on to the win tonight. They've got a fairly friendly run home as well. They would feel like this doesn't have to be the last set of 3 points they claim, if they are indeed to see off the Melbourne Victory surge. One more home game here next Friday night against Preston before finishing the season against Heidelberg United. Two teams without a whole lot to play for either. As for Melbourne Victory, they return home for their last game at the home of the Matildas of the season when they host Alamein before they too play Preston to round out the campaign. And Bentleigh Greens have a free kick now in a position that very much invites a delivery into the penalty area. You wonder how much risk the Greens will take in terms of putting bodies into the attacking zone. Delivered by Dunn. Arriving was Robers. Follow-up shot. It's 3 for Bentleigh. Is that the goal to wrap up a third Bentleigh win of the season. Karina Tolios in the right position, putting it past Shaylee Lane. And after a second half that started all in the favour of Melbourne Victory, it's Bentleigh Greens who've struck twice at the other end. And with it, they are now in pole position to secure a win. Come from behind, 1-0 down, now 3-1 ahead. There is still over 10 minutes to play. Well, Melbourne Victory this night has very quickly unravelled. Here's Simic, hoping to revive her team's fortunes. Flick over the top. You saw the idea from Miller. Tolios, the scorer of the third Greens goal, hoping for distance. Myers and Trainer battle, and Myers hits the deck. Referee not seeing any foul in that passage of play, so Victory continue.
Did I miss the ball?
Simic turning away from trouble, back to Trainer. Now Tarrant. Out to the left now. Chance of the cross inside. Flicked on by Hussein. It was a nice move from Victory. Hussein, though, the angle proving too great. Goal from Karina Tolios means she moves back level with Kira Myers on 3 goals apiece now for the Greens. Tonight also just the second time this season the Bentleigh have managed to score 3 goals in a game, and in league football they did score 3 a couple of times in the cup in those early round wins. But in the league it's only happened once this season. That was in a loss as well. 5-3 defeat to Preston. These 3 goals, well, as things stand, worth a whole lot more. Potential for 3 more points. It'd be 2 wins in 3 for the Greens, having beaten Melbourne City here a few weeks ago. Take that out to 7 points in their last 4 games, and all of a sudden they're one of the most informed teams in the competition, Bentleigh. It's hardly been a free-flowing, smooth, dominant performance from Bentleigh, but they won't care. 3-1 the scoreline leads. Another delivery into the box. Awkward again for Shaylee Lane. Well, it's not been the easiest of nights for the Victory goalkeeper, so she did really well to get herself underneath that one and palm it away from goal. This win, should they secure the Greens, would take them up to 11 points into double digits. This corner's taken short for Souza. Cross inside, closed down by Hussein. With no touch from the Victory player, it'll be a Victory goal kick. Just a slight delay as the spare ball makes its way down towards Shaylee Lane. Well, what do Victory have in their lockers? Still probably around 10 minutes of playing time in this game. So still some opportunity to wrestle their way back. If they were to nab one, the pressure would really mount on the hosts, for whom wins have been so infrequent this season. They've scrapped and clawed their way to a 3-1 advantage, the Bentleigh Greens, tonight. This is Doveston for Melbourne Victory. There's a run being made down the left-hand side. It's Teixeira who scored the opening goal this evening. Sardo up for the task. Sends it all the way into the Melbourne Victory half, does the Bentleigh fullback, now O'Keefe. Ball slid forward, chance for a shot from range. That one never troubling Melissa Barbieri. And with it, Melbourne Victory will go to their bench again. It's Anika Doveston who will be withdrawn. And CJ Moole coming on for the final minutes of this one. So very much an attacking change for Melbourne Victory, as they go hunting for a way back into this one in the dying minutes. Win tonight also putting Bentleigh perhaps back on track to match their points tally from recent seasons. Didn't look as if it would be the case as of about a month ago, but now finding themselves provisionally on 11 Bentleigh Greens, and they'll stay there if they can repel the next few Melbourne Victory attacks. Tam into the area, beats everyone, and Barbieri will extract every second from the clock that she can, forcing Hussain to come and close her down before picking up the ball. Continuing the press was Myers. Bentleigh clearly feeling inspired. Ball central. Theodosiu out to the right-hand side. Oxley, whose Olympico goal put Bentleigh ahead. And she's won herself another corner here. They have made full use of their set pieces in this second half, Bentleigh Greens. They are such a feature of football, and so often can determine the way a game plays out, and it's looking like it may be the case tonight. Oxley delivers. Headed away. Sato on the edge of the area. Swing and a miss almost. Now Simic leads the charge for Victory. There's a wall of green shirts ahead of her. One of them was Elsa Souza, who stepped out of line to make the challenge. Taryn, who's moved over to right full back to accommodate Crawford now. Hussain. Dunn blocking the clean look at goal. Teixeira thumped it into Sardo. Follow-up attempt. Only finds Yuka Sato. Tero composed on the ball. One of the gang of mid-season recruits who's really elevated this Bentleigh team. Now looking towards a third win of the campaign. All three of them here at this venue. Potentially back-to-back against the academy teams. And Keefe's touch got away from her. Oxley playing it to Otero, and now over the top perhaps for Myers. This would seal the win for sure. Kira Myers thumped it towards Shaylee Lane, who got down well. Does look like such a promising young talent, Myers, on that right flank. Clearly grown over the last couple of years as well, and the technical ability on the ball, well, it's always been there, but it looks to have gone up another gear. Melbourne Victory on the attack. Cross inside. Corner to come. Couple of minutes remaining in the 90. Melbourne Victory, you feel, have to make their move now if they are to rescue something from this game. Delivery inside always looked skinny, and indeed didn't give a teammate a chance. Did that last delivery. Bentleigh Greens will look to their bench. Kira Myers, who, I mean, even on the night of an Olympico, probably scored the best goal that we've seen and really proved to be a thorn in the Melbourne Victory side. She'll be withdrawn for the final few minutes, which will pave the way for Tess Kinsella to get a run off the bench. The former South Melbourne junior, now in Bentleigh Green. And she'll help to support her team get over the line here in the final few minutes, taking up a very attacking role, Kinsella, so maybe hoping that a counter-attacking opportunity falls her way. Souza very much mistiming that pass. It's worked out in the end for Bentleigh, as things really have more often than not this evening. We'll find out momentarily how much stoppage time they'll have to contend to secure the win. Tolios, who scored that third goal. And so there will be 6 minutes of second half stoppage time. So 6 minutes to navigate for the Greens with their 2-goal buffer. Melbourne Victory really need to throw everything at it now if they're to salvage a point from this game. Trainer looks out to the left-hand side. And kicking with the run did the Victory fullback to pick the ball back up, and still she charges. Eventually the two Bentleigh numbers, though, winning out. Tolios and Sato, now Miller. Ball sent wide and over the head of Souza, so Melbourne Victory will get possession back. There is Kinsella's first real involvement in this one, and it's toe poking the ball over the fence. Well, no disguise what the Bentleigh Green strategy is here. Karina Tolios. Similarly, just sending it into touch. Force Melbourne Victory back a little bit before they can relaunch the attack. Tarrant. Inboard to O'Keefe. There's Trainer. Charges towards goal, Emmy Trainer. This would be a way to revitalise Victory's hopes. But once again, the shot just leaves a little bit to be desired. And Melissa Barbieri between the sticks for Bentleigh Greens will not be in any great hurry to get play back underway. Just goes for distance in the end. Teixeira, that's a really nice first touch to create the opportunity. Chance on the edge of the area for Miller. It's kicked past one but not the other. And Bentleigh get the ball clear again. Bentleigh edging closer and closer to the 3 points. Mia Otero, who's worked relentlessly in the Bentleigh Greens front line tonight, is eventually allowed to take the throw in. Combines with Kinsella, and the end result is another Bentleigh throw. Almost there now, the Greens. Melbourne Victory perhaps wondering if their race is indeed run. Just about everything has got to go perfect from here for the visitors. Doesn't start off great as Souza sends it all the way to Lane between the sticks. Tam now asks for someone to make the run. Simic did, presenting for the ball. Miller didn't see the run of Tarrant on the right flank. Now Jasmine Miller again. Victory needs something special from their top scorer here. Tries the body feint. Moole. Cross has to come in, does now. Barbieri. Well, the goalkeeper, with all her quality, her experience, has been an invaluable presence at the back for Bentleigh Greens this evening. We've heard her barking out instructions to her teammates all night long. And those balls into the area, well, some keepers in this competition may not have made them look as simple as Barbieri has this evening. Just a brief pause as we wait for one of the Bentleigh players to get back to their feet before the throw-in is taken. So you heard Melissa Barbieri's thoughts on that one, having kicked it straight out to allow for the stoppage. Here's O'Keefe, beats a couple, not Rovers though. And we continue to creep closer into the final minute now of stoppage time. Crossfield ball, Barbieri favoured. Surely the Greens are home now. 3-1 to the good. This will be a really pleasing night for Steve Cremidas and his team. Something they deserve for some of the performances they put out over the last month or so. Chance for a late win for Kinsella wasn't forthcoming. They've shown plenty of fight, Bentleigh. It hasn't been a clinical performance, a classic night of football. But Bentleigh have shown up in the moments that matter, taken their chances when they've arose. And now we'll be enjoying the final seconds of this one. Ball inside. Lane had to do well to deal with the fizz. But that might be the last involvement of the Melbourne Victory keeper. Referee takes a look at the watch, happy for play to continue for a couple more moments. That ball up does find Simic, hoping for Hussein, sent clear, and that's full time. A first come from behind win of the season for Bentleigh Greens, their third all told in league action. Finally they move into double digits for points accumulated, and a wonderful second half showing in which they were clinical in the penalty area when the balls were sent inside after an excellent Kira Myers goal in the first half got them on track. Sienna Teixeira's opening goal came, which looked as if it was going to send Melbourne Victory on their way, but Bentleigh Greens had plenty to say about it and indeed stormed home to secure a third win of the season in league football, a third home win as well, and they will now very likely managed to avoid a bottom of the table finish and add as many points to their tally as possible. Kira Myers, Savannah Oxley and Karina Tolios with the goals. 3 points for Bentleigh. It does officially end Melbourne Victory's finals hopes, and the Greens will go home happy and head into their final home game of the campaign next weekend filled with confidence. For Melbourne Victory, 2 more games for them to play as well. They'll look to get back on the horse and end the season on a high in the final couple of weeks of the campaign. But that's all the time that we have this evening from Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. Bentleigh Greens finishing strong and taking the 3 points as well. Full-time score, Bentleigh 3, Melbourne Victory 1.